Earlier programs, the Venerable Anandamaithriya has shown Buddhism's place in the world, its teachings, and its practices. In this final program, he'll explain the results of practicing the teachings of the Buddha. Once again, I welcome the Venerable Anandamaithriya. Now, for our fourth and last part, the ends of things. We've heard that, according to Buddhism, there's no eternal soul in man. But they say man is reborn according to his good or bad deeds done here. Now, if there's no soul or self that passes from here to the next life, how can rebirth take place?
Yes. Well, the Lord Buddha said, there is no atta in man. By atta, he meant what other people believe. That is, some unchanging core, which is static, which is existing forever in man's mind or in man's life. So, the word atta has been translated into English as self or soul. Buddha denied that the existence of such a thing in human life, in man or in any being, either in man or the so-called gods or anybody, because from our experience we can see there is change everywhere. Even scientifically, everything is subject to change in the world. All things in the world are conditioned. The things which condition them also are subject to change. Therefore, the things conditioned by them also are subject to change. So there is change everywhere in the world. Among animated beings or inanimated beings, everywhere there is change. So what we call man is a stream of changings. If we carefully examine, we know we have a body and we have a mind. From our experience, we see we have a mind and we have a body. This body, we know it is every time it is changing. One time we were children in our physical body, but now it is not the same body, not any other body. It is the process. It is the stream of body we have now. So, what we call body is a process of some material states or a stream of material states. They rise in volumes in physical body. Every time they are subject to change. The process of some material states or a stream of material states, they rise in volumes in physical body. Every time they are subject to change. What is not a static thing, it is dynamic. All material states are rising and vanishing. So everywhere in the body, in every part of your body, you don't find any unchanging substance to be taken as self or soul or anything. That is why the Lord Buddha said, there is no atta, there is no unchanging core within your body. In every material state, material existence, there is this change. So, there is only a dynamic process, dynamic a stream of dynamic states in the physical body. Now when we turn towards our mental side, if we examine carefully our mind, it is nothing but a series or a stream of rising and vanishing states called thoughts or mental states. Taken together, all of them, we call them mind. But there is no one same thing, one unchanging thing called mind or spirit or self, if you carefully analyze and examine. But there is not nothingness. When we state that there is no soul or self or unchanging core, if you mistake our statement for that there is nothingness, then it is wrong. There is not nothingness. There is some states, some passing states, changing states. So if I use a term of those people who believe in the existence of soul, they use this term self or soul, I may use, if I use their terms, I may say we have a changing self or a changing soul, not unchanging self or unchanging soul, if I use their term. But if anything is subject to change, we can't call it self, but as a conventional term we may use, we may call it a self, but we have to add this word changing self or changing soul. Then you can follow, you can understand. It doesn't mean that there is nothing. There is something, that is a stream, a current of happenings. There is mental current. Mental current is not an unchanging thing. It is every moment. It is dynamic every moment. Active and dynamic. Such a dynamic stream, dynamic process of states is there. It doesn't mean that there is nothing. There is a stream of changing states. That is what we mean by that there is no soul or self. Now, let us take the case of a cinema picture. When we see a cinema picture, we see a man running. But actually there is no one picture. It is a series of pictures reflected on the screen. Series of pictures, coming and passing. According to certain order, they come and pass. Therefore you see as one same man running there. If you examine carefully, you see it is not one same picture. It is a series. It is a stream of pictures successively passing in a certain order. We don't say there is nothing, but we say at the same time there is a changing process of pictures, not the same thing. There is a stream of states, a stream of pictures, not one same picture. Similarly, we say there is a stream of happenings, mental and physical. At the death, the mental side, the mental current, these mental states flow, this mental stream flow from this physical body to another physical body, which we call rebirth. Now here in this very life, our mental stream works in the same way. My mental state that existed yesterday is not what I have at this moment. It is not the same, it is not another. It is the process of the same. So there is a process. Even now I have the same process. Even now I have the same mental stream. Similarly, this mental stream flows as it flows from yesterday to today. It flows at death from this physical body to another physical body. This same stream of thoughts or thought currents thinks itself, I. There is therefore an identity. But there is a stream, not the same thing. That is what we mean by that there is no self, but there is rebirth. I think now you can understand me. Another example. Suppose I take back the same same thing that now I have mentioned, that cinema picture. Suppose the cinema picture is falling on a screen. Meanwhile, the screen falls down. Then what happens? If the machine works, the remaining part of the picture falls on the ground or somewhere, or the wall which is there. Similarly, our thought currents passes. Thought stream flows on this physical frame. When this physical frame falls down, the same thought stream flows to another physical body, as the same series of pictures after the falling down of the screen, as it falls on the wall behind. In the same way, our thought current passes, our thought stream passes from this physical body and the physical body. As it worked here in this physical body, the same thought stream works in the coming physical body. That is what we call rebirth. So, without anything called unchanging core or self, we can understand there is rebirth so long as the thought current works. Yes.
I see. You've said that Buddhism is a way of life or a way to self-realization. Can you explain the path in brief?
The way, how to develop yourself. That's what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, if you want to know this thing, you have to give a long explanation. It takes much time, but in brief I tell you. The way of self-development is this. First of all, we have to live a good moral life, because a life of good conduct is the foundation of all virtues. On sand, you can't put a strong building. The foundation must be strong. So the foundation of all virtues is the life of good conduct, good character. In other words, morally good life. In Pali we call it sila. This is the beginning. You have to abstain from all wrong deeds, wrong speech, wrong actions, wrong way of living. This is what we call morally good life. This is the foundation of all your virtues. It's the first step of the path to self-progress or self-development. Depending on this morally good life, now you have to try to control your mind. Mind strays naturally. Mind goes, or mind runs after this object and that object. And it is tempted by so many things that come before it. So it goes astray. Therefore, you have to take care of our mind from running after different objects. To do this, we have to develop right type of concentration. From religious point of view, we have to select a good object which doesn't tempt us. Some good object like the Buddha statue, for example. There are 40 kinds of such practices to develop our self-concentration. For example, I give you one, that is the Buddha statue. Buddha statue is a symbol of infinite kindness, infinite compassion. So we fix our mind on that. First we fix our eyes and mind on that, then we try to forget all other things and concentrate it. After some time we can see or we can visualize that picture. Then looking mentally at that visualized picture, we must try to concentrate and think of the virtues Buddha possessed, that infinite kindness and so on. So we have to develop this concentration. This is only one way. There are 40 methods. By this kind of practice, if we do it regularly, we can control our mind to some extent. As a habit, if you do it, naturally you are attracted to these virtues which you think of as the virtues of the Lord Buddha. So, through concentration on the Buddha figure, you see or you think, you concentrate the compassionate nature of the Buddha. Compassion, infinite forbearance, infinite purity. Such virtues you see mentally and you fix your mind on them. When you concentrate purity of heart or compassion, you become nearer and nearer to that state. Then you get away, little by little, you get away from all other bad qualities, all other temptations. So at last you become one with that nature. Then your mind is at peace, at calmness. Such a developed mind cannot be easily tempted by any other things, any external things. So there are so many methods of self-concentration. This development of right concentration is the second step of the path. When you are able to control your mind in this way, now you have to understand what you really are. Now you begin the self-analysis. You have to examine your body. In the beginning, you can't handle your mind, it is so subtle. In the beginning, you can handle your body, this gross body. You have to examine what it is, how it is formed, what are its constituents. You see, it is a mass of material states subject to change every moment, a mass of atomic units. Every atomic unit also is subject to change. So the whole body is a changing states, a mass of changing states. There is nothing to be taken as mine or I. 5 minutes ago, we say, or I say that I, with regard to my body. I call it my body or I. But at this moment, the very same body is not there. Now is the process of the stream of material, volumes of matters, they are coming and going in my body. It is not the same, very same body now. After 5 minutes, so quickly and so fast, the material states called body rise and vanish. It is not the same thing in 2 consecutive moments. So you have to examine your body in this way. Then you will see at last, when you continue to analyze in this way and to try to understand what your body is, At last you understand that this physical body is nothing but a process of material states. You understand the nature of body. You are convinced because from your experience, not believing a theory, but from your experience, by means of your own examination, your own self-analysis, you find your body is changing, a mass of changing state. Then you come to your mind. You have to examine your mind. You have to be mindful, watchful, full of awareness to see what and how your mind works, the so-called mind. Then, if you are mindful enough and watchful enough, you will see thoughts rise and pass away, depending on the objects. Without an object, a thought doesn't rise. When a visible object comes before your eye organ, the seeing consciousness arises there. When a sound enters your ear organ or touches your ear organ, at once the hearing consciousness arises there. Similarly, different types of consciousness, different types of thought are rising and vanishing. So you have to be very careful and watchful of these happenings within you. This is called the development of insight. Vipassana bhavana we call it. So when we go on examining, investigating your inner nature in this way, at last everything with regard to your mind will be evident, very clear, and your mind's eye will open perfectly to see the exact nature of your body and mind, and it will see what you really are. Whenever your mind sees perfectly well, mind's eye is developed enough to see the exact nature of your life, all its shrouding nature, blinding nature is removed, and mind eye opens, then you see the worldly side of nature, the world as it is, and its opposite side. Until you come to this state, you don't see the opposite side of the world, because you are in the darkness. While you are in darkness, you can't see light. Light is far away from from darkness. Similarly, while you are under the belief that there is something unchanging core called I or self or soul, you can't understand this truth. You have to practice this kind of development, mental development of your wisdom or insight. When you come to the culmination, the consummation of this development, your mind's eye will open, then it will see the exact nature.
Thank you, Bhante. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we'd like to thank Bhante for these 4 programs and hope that everyone has learned a lot from it. And again, I'd like to thank you.